In today's video, guys, we are straight back on the Audi R8's engine, and I really want to try and get it mated into the mated to the gearbox and into the car in today's video. So I just want to really crack on. In the last video, if you haven't seen that, click in the top right hand corner. Basically just assembled the last bits of the engine to close it off so it's not open to the elements. Which means it, oh look, I have a trolley as well. Which means it pretty much looks like this, and yeah, what we've got to do now is just keep building up around the engine to get it to a point where we can get it to the car. Next up, I think I'm actually going to fit the gearbox because all the wiring actually sits on top of the engine here and really comes out, so it just makes it a lot harder to get the gearbox on once that's in position. So I think it'd be just best case just to get it on. And also the steering pump needs to go here, and that's just a bit too close to fit with the gearbox as well. So yeah, it's just easier to get that on first. Most things in the V are built up. It's just a case of fitting parts, just keep building it up, and yeah, we'll get it into the car. So I think I'm going to start things off. We'll lift up the gearbox, and I should be able to fit the gearbox on with my little wooden pallet. And yes, I know, I'm fully aware I've got my V8 engine just supported with a little wooden table and 2 tyres, but adapt and overcome. I don't have loads of workbenches where I can just fit a Plonker V8 engine on top of. I don't have loads of engine stands, so I just make best with what I have got. I did have my nice table here, but it sadly passed away over the weekend. Just couldn't handle the weight in the end. Connecting the straps up to the gearbox, it took a few attempts because I was trying to find the sweet spot to balance it so the gearbox sat at the right height, and as you can see, yeah, it took a few attempts to get there, but we got there in the end. But before we can fit the gearbox, we obviously need to fit the flywheel and clutch, and I actually sent the flywheel away to be ever so slightly skimmed to remove the heat spots. So as you can see here now, look, perfectly nice. I've actually got the flywheel from the other engine as well, so I'll show you what it looked like before because they looked pretty much the same. So that is what the other flywheel looked like before as well. Just loads of heat spots and just didn't look great. So yeah, minimal surface removal makes it look lovely. So we'll stick that on now, followed by the clutch. And I know some of you will be saying, why don't you just replace the clutch while you've got it out? Because it's £2,000, that is why. And the clutch in it doesn't look that bad, so I'm not going to replace it just for replacing its sake, especially when it's £2 If it's 200 quid, then yeah, I would have done, but it's not. So the good thing about having 2 engines that I've stripped down is I've got twice as many bolts as I need, and if you remember when I was taking this off, some of them were completely seized in, and I had to end up breaking the bolts to get them out. So good job I have 2 full sets of bolts because I'm able to make good and get a full set with both. So where's this flywheel going? And now we'll fit the clutch up. Which, because of how it's positioned, you can't actually align incorrectly. Now the fun bit of trying to get this gearbox on. Now this is probably the hardest gearbox I've ever tried to fit. I don't know if it's because we had the additional shaft for the 4-wheel drive as well coming out the bottom left hand corner of the gearbox, but it was really difficult to get in. I had everything spot on, the engine was at the right height and angle, the gearbox was at the right height and angle. I've even got studs for the gearbox to slide it onto, which were all in position, but for some reason I just could not get it on. I even had to take it off my makeshift tyre and wooden pallet stand because the engine kept moving about too much. So eventually I managed to put it onto a couple of pallets so the engine was a bit more stable, and even then I just could not get it on. It was just really difficult. I even employed my mum to help me, look, and she tried pushing the engine crane whilst I tried pushing it on, and eventually it took me getting really angry with it and giving it a good shake, and eventually I got it on.
That was hard work. Especially with the two splines. I don't know if it was just that was doing it, but Jesus, that was difficult to get on. And it literally took me getting really angry with it. And it was like a final, oh, go on! And it just eventually went on. So let's get this bolted up.
So here I'm just fitting the starter motor and the power steering pump, as they're two easy things to do with only 5 bolts between them, just 2 things to get out of the way. So I've just fitted, you probably saw the starter motor, and I've also fitted the power steering pump as well, so that is now in, just the 3 bolts. Now I've got what I believe to be a PCV valve, which bolts here to the oil cooler. So just sit. Now I've just gone to install this coolant pipe that connects both heads together and then goes over the top of the engine, but then I realised that they are really disgusting, as you can see. Well, as you can see, I've removed them, and how basically bunged up with coolant. Obviously there was an issue in the coolant system before, but yeah, they're all really disgusting. And having a look at the ones off the other head, they are perfectly clean, look, both of them. So what I've just done is I've just swapped over both of them for the nice clean ones, look, so that should no longer be an issue. And now I can connect up my coolant pipe. So now the gearbox is fitted, we need to build up the back of the engine by fitting coolant pipes, just fitting all the wiring, because it is very confusing and there's a lot of orientation I've got to try and get right. So it's just remembering to put things in the right order, because like you can see my exhaust gas recirculation now, I've put it in the completely wrong place. So I had to take it back off and put it in the right place. But this happens quite a lot, it's just about getting it right. It might not be the first time, but we'll get there in the end. And now I'm putting on the exhaust manifolds as well, which went pretty straightforward, along with the heat shields. And just remember, there is a plug just above the exhaust manifold that you have to install before you can put the heat shields on, otherwise it makes it very difficult for you. Right, so it's nearly time. I've just been clearing spaces in the workshop. The door's open. We are soon ready to get the R8 in. Quick update on what I've fitted. So a bit more at the back here with the coolant pipes around the back of the engine. Exhaust manifolds are both now fitted. I don't know if you saw the rest of this one being fitted. I think my camera battery died and I didn't realise. But we've started to get loads of wiring connectors kind of bunched up into the middle now. And the only thing I don't know the orientation of is this fuel pipe at the minute, because it's a bit weird and shaped, but I can't work out where it goes. So I'm gonna have a look at some previous pictures. But it is about time that we got the main engine harness, which is just there. Look, we'll get that placed on the engine, and then yeah, it'll be time to pick her up, move her out of the way, and get the R8 onto the ramp. I'm trying to set the camera up so you can try and see the mess that I have here, but it's quite hard to see, because looking at the camera now, it just looks like a complete jumble of wires, which it actually is. Right, so that goes here. This must go up there on the car, so we can leave it in the middle. And now with our wiring loom dumped on top of the engine, I need to now try and work out where everything goes. Made slightly more difficult by the fact that a lot of the wiring actually doesn't go on the engine, it goes in the car. So I've got to rest that on the top and just try and work out what goes in the engine, what goes in the car, and work out all the routing. Luckily, I've taken a lot of pictures. This should be fun as I attempt to push it. Right, I eventually got the car in the workshop. Very heavy to push, surprisingly, even though it had no engine and gearbox. But, right, so obviously the engine's going to come right up to the bulkhead here. So ideally, well, not ideally, I do need to get as many electrical connections attached at the front as possible. I'm not so worried about the rear because I'm going to have loads of access here. But it's at the front of the engine where I need to get stuff like these sensors all plugged in. So obviously I've got my loom here for my spark plugs. They're all in, so this is in the correct position, so I need to find out where these cables go. Down here, I think one of them goes on the engine mount. I've also got these ones, they need to go down here somewhere. So it's a bit of a minefield, this wiring loom. I've got loads of pictures, so I can just look back at the pictures, worst case scenario, and have a look where everything goes. But for now, yeah, just these front bits I need to get plugged in. Right, I think I'm just about there with the wiring so far. Managed to look back at all my pictures that I took before I took it apart. So I've now got all the routing at the back here, look, all good, all plugged in. Got all these, basically everything is all where it should be. Now, a good example why routing of wires is a pain in the arse and can be a pain in the arse is the injector wiring here for this bank. I purposely just laid it there and didn't attach them all because I was unsure of the routing. Now, the wires did originally come over this coolant pipe here, but it turned out that this bracket here went onto there, which means the wiring, which is here, it actually went under this coolant pipe and needed to go under here. And because of that, I had to pull it all out and feed them all under there. So that's just one example where you just try and get things in position without actually plugging them in first, because yeah, it can be a bit of a pain in the ass down the line. But everything, what makes it extra difficult is obviously I've got loads of wiring loom that isn't going anywhere because it connects to the car. So like all this down here, all this up here, all connects to parts in the car. So I need to get this out of the way at the moment. Everything is now plugged in the V. That extra loom I got did the last two connectors that I was missing there. So now we are about time to put the inlet manifold on. I was gonna leave that until the engine was in the car, but trying to plug some sensors at the back here when it's against the bulkhead will be near on impossible. So I'm just gonna put it on now, exactly how I took it out. Right, so it's time now to fit our inlet manifold and get rid of our nice bits of... So we've got to put our port separators back in. There's no reason to leave these out. Now, one of the things I've just checked quickly, which I know is a very common problem on the RS4 B7, which is pretty much the same engine as this, is the intake manifold flaps here. There are two screws that hold each one on, and I know in cases that those screws can come undone, fall into your engine and actually completely ruin the engine. Now, I don't know of it being much of a problem on the R8, so if you can just see them two screws there, look, they are what fall out and end up falling into your cylinder and damaging it. But on this one, there you go, perfect view there, look. All screws are completely still intact and in position, haven't moved at all. So if they haven't done that in 15 years, if they haven't moved, then I very much doubt they're going to move now. So yeah, they're absolutely fine. I managed to fit number 2 the wrong way around, so I've just sorted that out as well. Inlet gasket. So I've just found a bit of a problem, and I think I'm going to have to suspend play for today because, yeah, I need to take the inlet manifold back off. And that is because I was just looking into the inlets here just to clean out the entrances, and I found a bit of debris, and it looks to me like
possibly bits of valve. Now, where's the bit I just, there we go, that chunk of metal there that was just laying in the intake. Now, where's my torch? Now, if you look here, look all in there, that. See all that debris? I don't know how it's got up there. So basically from the, well, I suppose, yeah, it does make sense. If the valve's going to explode, it's going to shoot up the chamber there, look, and come out the top and just lay all in the inlet. Now, I mean, the chances are that that debris there, sat there, won't then get sucked back down into the inlet, but that is not a chance I'm willing to take. So there's just a little bit of debris this side, look. So, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take the got it all bolted on nice as well. I'm gonna have to take the inlet all back off again, and probably gonna try and jet wash the inlet out. But yeah, that's not something I can do today.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad I noticed it, because yeah, I don't really want to be driving that at 8,000 RPM, just thinking, is a bit of metal just going to find its way down that intake pipe? So yeah, gonna have to take it off, gonna have to jet wash it all out, get all that debris out. But yeah, as I said, unfortunately it's something I can't do. It's a bit annoying because I really wanted to get the car on the ramp and it mounted in today's video, but these things happen. I'd rather catch it now and then before it's too late, and then have to do the whole thing all over again. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Annoyingly, it did end on a bad note, but in a good way. It also ended on a good note because I found an issue. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you do enjoy these videos, please do like and subscribe. Let me know how you think the R8 videos or the R8 engine rebuild's going so far. We are just about there to get it in the car, and that does mean in the next video we will be going for that start. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching, and hope you had a good Easter weekend. Cheers, guys.